And we are back for another casual conversation with the classic guys, and I'm here with none other than Raquel Rodriguez. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, trying to stay warm, right? I'm sure we all are.
Just talk about staying warm. You guys are coming back up to Canada in March for Elimination Chamber and SmackDown. Finally back in the Rogers Centre, formerly known as the Sky Dome. Do you have any big Canadian memories?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot of big Canadian memories. We just had one in Vancouver,
You guys did?
Yeah. Vancouver was great. It was beautiful. And then of course we were in Toronto not too long ago for another Elimination Chamber. Was that like
it was Money in the Bank in July.
Money in the Bank. Yes, sorry, excuse me. Money in the Bank. That's right. Yeah. So I have a lot of big memories in Canada. I love Canada. I think the wrestling fans are insanely huge and they're so different when you're up there. And guys, all of you Canadian fans, Liv wanted me to tell you she said hi. You're welcome.
Oh, there you go. Well, shout out to Liv. Tell her we said hi as well. I just want to take it back for a second before we talk about modern stuff really quickly. What are some of your earliest memories of professional wrestling?
Oh man, some of my earliest memories are actually sitting in, it was called the Tejano Saloon where I'm from. It's down in South Texas and it's no longer open, but it used to be this like, just a honky tonk where people would go dance and they'd play music and it was a bar, but that's where my dad would wrestle. So I just remember him telling us one time, to me and my sister, he's like, all right, when I'm out there, you don't call me dad, okay? I'm Desperado. And we're like, yeah, whatever, sure. So he goes out and wrestles, and of course, we're just these two little girls, like standing in the way back with my mom who's selling his merch, and we're on this table, and we're just like, yeah, dad. And we just know that he was going to get him so mad, but we were just so excited, and that's one of my favorite memories that I have of wrestling, is for sure one of those with him. And then, of course, the ones where we would go roll around with him and train with him, and going to Mexico and watching lucha there too. It's just, it's such a different atmosphere. I love wrestling. I love the environment and the way it just brings people together.
It's true. I always call it the greatest form of art and athleticism combined because it's just like it's theater, but it's so good. And it's just, if you get it, you get it. You're a second generation superstar. And I think a lot of people know, but then there's a lot of people that don't. I think that is super cool. Tell us a little bit more about your dad and his wrestling background.
Yeah, so my dad started wrestling before I was even born. And it's funny because the story I always tell of me being born is it has to do with wrestling. My mom was going into labor with me and they get to the hospital and the doctor's like, oh, the baby's not coming for a few hours. And my dad at the time had a tag team partner who's still a part of my family. He's like an uncle to me. Damper Dan in Louisiana. And so he's telling my dad, he's like, dude, we have this show. We can still make it if we go to the match and then we'll come back and the baby still won't be born. Like, you'll be here in time. No big deal. And my mom was like, yeah, go, you'll be fine. Go wrestle and come back and the baby will be born. Well, sure enough, as soon as he left to go wrestle, I was like, no, don't leave me. And like chased him and came out of my mother.
Came out and chased you. All right.
I was born wanting to go watch him wrestle, and he didn't take me. But I was born while he was being wrestled, so I love telling that story. And ever since then, like, that's just what it was for us. Our family trips, our car rides were always to Corpus Christi or to Mexico or to Houston or to Dallas, to one of the big cities. And we're like, wow, we're going to go to the big city and dad's wrestling in the big city. And it was just such a fun time that we had as like a group, as a family. And of course, we can't forget about Hooters afterwards. The boys loved going to Hooters afterwards. So my sister and I, of course, we joined in and we would go to Hooters too and get some wings.
That's awesome. So you just grew up around the business. Like, this is just ingrained in you since day one.
Yeah, it was. I always wanted to be a wrestler. My dad was like, no, you can't. My daughter's not going to be a female wrestler wrestling in bikinis. No. And so he started coaching basketball just like part-time at my sister's school. And I was like, well, maybe I could do that for now. And so we made that deal. I would try and go to college and graduate. And once I graduated, then I could pursue wrestling. And so that's exactly what happened.
And to his credit, like, women's wrestling has evolved so much since probably when you were a little girl and wanted to be a wrestler. So seeing where it is now and how it's presented now, he's probably a little bit more chill about it than he was, say, 15 years ago. Who were some of your biggest inspirations outside of your dad when it came to wrestling?
Yeah, mean, of course, I gravitated towards the big girls because I was so big and different when I was little. You know, it was hard being this like fourth grader that everybody looked at walking into a new school and they're like, aren't you a sixth grader? You're like in the wrong class. I was like, I'm a fourth grader. I'm with you guys, you know? So I really gravitated towards China, of course, because I just thought like she's so beautiful and strong and I love that about her. And Beth Phoenix too. Like Beth was just this glamazon. And I love that word glamazon because everyone was calling me an Amazon, but I was like, but I want, you know, I'm still a girl. I'm not just like some warrior princess, you know, I like to like, you know, get dressed up and do these
Yeah.
things too. And so glamazon was just the perfect mix of both of those. And so I really looked up to those two women in wrestling. They really, yeah, inspired me.
Did you go through that same thing? We had a girl when I was in elementary school who was like super tall when we were like in the early grades, and then we find all of us guys finally went through a growth sport, and we're like all got taller than them. But I'm like, man, I remember when you were like huge, like you were
You know
taller than
what's
all of
funny?
us.
I would love to say that that was my experience, but that was not my experience.
You kept growing too. You were with the
I
growth
stayed
sport.
tall. I stayed tall. And like the boys, like, yeah, they got their growth spurts, but they were all still so short. And I mean, hey, that didn't stop them. I don't want to brag or anything, but Valentine's
Yeah.
Day, it was a big hit for me. I always came home with like, I'm
Uh,
like, Mom, I don't know what it is. The short guy is just like the tall girl. I don't know what it is.
Shout out to all those short kings out there. Let's talk about something that we're talking about inspirations. You once had gear that was inspired by both Eddie Guerrero and Selena, which is really cool. What other gears were probably inspired by other people that we didn't really pick up on?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my gears have been inspired by Selena for sure because I've always loved her outfits. You know, as a small Texas Mexican girl growing up in South Texas and her being a Texas Mexican girl growing up in South Texas, I just always was gravitated towards her because she was such an inspiration and she was such a light in just everything that she did and spoke and the way she was for, you know, not just the people of Texas, but for women all over the world. And so a lot of my gears have been inspired by her and her fashion. I love her fashion. Some other ones have definitely been my dad. You know, he went by Desperado when he was wrestling, so he kind of did like an all black with silver look. So like a lot of the black pieces you'll see, it's kind of like an ode to him. But I still haven't hit that one that's like an actual like, yes, this is my dad's gear
Yeah.
moment type thing. So I try to stay a little bit different. You know, I try to have those inspirational gears for sure, but I also want to be unique and I also want to bring my own style and my own taste to it. So I try to mix it up as much as I can when it comes to that.
Are you waiting for a particular moment before you pull out that full Desperado tribute gear?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am. I'm waiting. I'm saving that for sure. I do have some of his old gear too, so like, you know, I want to incorporate that into it as well. And I'm not going to wait too long, you know, because you just never know in this business. But for sure, yeah, I'm going to incorporate something really special for my dad.
We've seen you like change it quite a bit too. We saw you have some pretty cool entrances down on NXT as well, little American Badass going on there and stuff. But I have to ask you because you've always been put in a position where you're working with another woman, you're a tag team partner, this and that, and you get compared to Deisel quite a bit. You get the big mommy cool. How do you feel about those comparisons, and do you play into it a little bit?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I think Diesel is such a great character. I love him. I love watching his A&E episode too, where they kind of just talk about, you know, him and Razor Ramon and like their personalities and how they used to be like big jokesters and whatnot. And I'm like, it's me. It's me pretty much to a T, you know, and I absolutely love getting to play Big Mommy Cool. I feel like I've been doing it since NXT. It's been like a nickname that I know the fans have given me and I've kind of used every now and then too. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best comparison that I could have. So
Because you
keep
you
doing
see
it.
you see it sometimes. Like you'll be standing there back with the arms crossed. You got the sunglasses on. I'm like, you could put us side by side here, and it definitely work. Like she
Yeah,
definitely knows
yeah,
what's happening. Yeah,
yeah, for
and
sure.
and you're making me jump around a little bit, but it does look like you're having a bunch of fun on the road, and we get to see it now on social media. Obviously, I'm a big Instagram personality, so like we get to see it now with your POVs when you're on the road with Liv and Dom. So what has it been like working with Liv and Dom? How is that experience, and has it just made things a little bit more fun for you?
Oh, 100%. Like I could not have come back in a better position because I love Liv. You know, we were put into this tag team a couple years ago, and we were like, us, oh, okay, cool. You know, and neither of us were like super close at the time. You know, she had her friends in her group, and I kind of did my own thing. But we worked really well together, and we knew that. And then we were given this position to be tag team partners, and we were like, yeah, let's run with it, let's do it. And we just sort of started to build this like really fun friendship relationship that has just blossomed into so much much more. I know she says it a lot, and I say it too. She's like a sister to me. I absolutely love being around her and her energy. I feel like we bring out the best in each other, whether we're at home relaxing or just hanging out, or we're on the road and we're trying to figure out what it is we're going to want to accomplish on Monday Night Raw. Like, we really do push each other to set goals, and she pushes me to be my absolute best. I have noticed in myself, and just like through pictures and stuff like that, like being part of this group, being a part of Liv and Dom has made me want to elevate my game even more. And that's kind of like shown a little bit through my fashion choices and through the way that I'm like acting now. And so like having Dom there too, Dom has always been like this distant cousin that I've known has been there. I mean, we're not related, right? But that's how I see him. He's like my distant cousin. And now, like, okay, we're getting closer because now me and this cousin have moved closer. And so our families are closer. And just like having him there and joking around with him, and his personality is just so great. I absolutely love it. I'm having the best time. I really am. So like everything you guys are seeing on social media is like real.
Yeah, you got to keep posting those POVs. They're great. And the combination of coming back and being part of the Judgment Day, and then also on the flip side, like it's a new era in WWE. It's like we're seeing a lot more of your personality. So it has been super cool. You've had 3 partners you won the women's tag team titles with. Obviously on NXT, there was Dakota Kai, which was your first partner in crime. You won the tag titles with Liv Morgan on a few occasions, and you won them with Aliyah. If you could say something about each partner, what makes them unique and different as a partner to you, and something nice about them, what would you say?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I would definitely say for Dakota Kai, she has like what's the word? Like unseen talent. You know, I think like she brings such a different level to every match that she's in, and it's always like her with Lyra this past Monday. Oh my gosh. Mind blowing. And I think people forget how amazingly good she is. But Dakota Kai just has so much equity behind her and so much just like raw talent that I just love. I love that about her. And she's so easy to work with, so kind. Like one of the best tag team partners that I could have been put with from the very beginning. She really did help me step out of my box when I started out in NXT. So I have so much love for Dakota. Aliyah too. Oh my God. Aliyah's just a little package of like this fun, like exciting little package. You know what I mean? Like she's a tiny little thing, but she's like dynamite. She just brings like explosions with everything she does. And she's so expressive and entertaining and exciting. And I absolutely love her because even just getting to hang out with her, it's just always laughs with Aliyah. And I love her so much. I'm so excited for what the future holds for her. And then of course, Liv, my sister, like what can I not say about Liv? She's inspired me in so many ways. She's so talented. She's so dedicated to her craft. She absolutely loves and dedicates her entire life to wrestling. Like I cannot say more about Liv Morgan and her passion for this. As you guys have probably seen this past year, like there's a reason she is number 1 in our women's division. There's a reason that she is the face of our women's division because she exudes the passion that all of us should have. And just like she exudes superstar. She is a superstar. She's a big superstar. And so like being around her, she just inspires me so much and pushes me to do my very best. And so I'm just so grateful I had to have all these amazing partners. But like, yeah, it's just been a fun ride for sure.
Hey, yo, have you guys heard about 500 Level? They make officially licensed WWE merchandise, and I actually have been working with them on a couple of designs. A design that I worked on recently was with a girl named Caitlin, who's a big Dakota Kai fan, and we designed this new Dakota Kai shirt, which you can get exclusively now at 500 Level. Once again, officially licensed with the WWE. Really wanted a new Dakota Kai shirt. Got this one designed and made, and it's on the website now, on sale now, 500level.com. Guys, join their partnership program. You get discounts the more shirts you buy, 10%, 20%, 30%. You earn points and you get a discount. They have OG shirts, guys. I had to re-up on my NWO shirts on 500 Level, the comfortable material. If you get the premium shirts, but even the non-premium is super comfortable. I got NWO shirts. They got Shawn Michaels shirts. You can find some of your favorite wrestlers on there. You can find none other than guys like Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Check out this shirt. It's a sweet, sweet shirt, everybody. 500level.com. Like I said, they have the NWO stuff. And if you're like a big NXT fan, they got shirts for all of your favorite NXT wrestlers. And if they don't, let me know and I'll make sure we get some shirts made for your favorite NXT wrestler. I went to go support my girl, Carmen Petrovic. You guys can check out our casual conversation on my YouTube channel. You can check out mine and Carmen Petrovic's casual conversation. But 500 Level had a Carmen Petrovic shirt. I had to go support my fellow Canadian and the homie Carmen Petrovic. Petrovic, guys. 500level.com, guys. Check them out. Get premium, officially licensed WWE shirts that you cannot find on WWE shop all the time. They have a huge selection on their website also for MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL. They got shirts for everything, but their wrestling selection is insane. Custom creative designs. Maybe I can work together with someone out there that is an editor that wants to put more designs on the website. Hit me up. 500level.com. Check them out and keep doing the thing. I had Rhea Ripley on the show, and I asked her. I asked her about her all the people she had matching tattoos with, and your name came up a handful of times.
Well,
I know you guys were friends.
But did she tell you who took her to get her first tattoo?
No, she didn't.
Yeah, it's funny how she doesn't mention that, isn't it?
So you talked her into getting her first tattoo?
Yeah, I talked her into it, and then I got one too at the time too, but I'd already had a few, and I was like, I'll go first because she's like, oh, I'm scared it's gonna hurt, and I was like, I'll go first. I'll show you how to be a tough guy. So like, if she ever tries to say anything about her tattoos again, just remind her who took you to get your first tattoo and who showed you how to be tough when you're getting those tattoos.
Look at her now; she's got tattoos all over.
Again, people, you're welcome. I have provided so much for you already. You're welcome.
The Raquel influence. That being said, like, what is it like working with Rhea? You guys obviously feud on NXT now. You guys got to have a little bit of a feud here on the main roster while she was feuding with Liv. You guys have the street fight. You guys, it's like a never-ending rivalry between you two.
Yeah, it's honestly like I look at Rhea kind of like I look at my real life sister, which is also a never-ending rivalry, because that's just what sisters do, we fight, we make up, we fight, we make up, we fight, we make up, but at the end of the day, they're always there. But yeah, I mean, Rhea's just come such a long way on her own as a superstar in Judgment Day, as this mega star that she is today. And so like working with her is always going to be a pleasure of mine. Like, I'm so grateful that I get to have the opportunity to step into the ring with someone so young, but so knowledgeable and so creative and so just in her own. And so I think that's really, really cool. Why Rhea gets to be in this position and represent a different group of women as well. And I think that's what I love too, is that like you see all of these women that we've just talked about, Dakota, Aliyah, Liv, Rhea, myself, we all look completely differently, and we're all going after the same thing, and we all have these different attributes, but at the end of the day, we can all go out there and we can create some kind of magic. And that I think has to do with the personalities of the people, of the way that we mix, and I love that. And so like, yeah, getting to work with Rhea, of course, it's always a pleasure. She's Rhea Ripley,
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. And so when we don't, yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, when we don't get along, you have to say those are some fun matches.
And it is cool. We see a lot of you against someone a little bit smaller, but to see you against someone that's almost the same size as you, and it's like two glamazons going at it.
Yeah,
it's always something special.
Yeah, and I think for her too, it's kind of the same thing, because she's like so much bigger compared to a lot of the other females. But then getting into the ring with me, and I'm the one throwing her around, and I'm the one catching her, and I'm the one doing all these things to her. So I think it's always fun to have that mix up for us.
Is there a match you haven't had yet that you really want to have with someone?
Yeah, I mean, I really want to step into the ring with Bianca Belair. I've only had like, little tastes of Bianca, whether that be in like a tag match or in War Games. Of course, we had a little bit of interaction there, but I have yet to have a full-blown singles match with Bianca Belair, and I just would love to step into the ring with the EST and show her what I got. I feel like she's not looking at me. Bianca, look at me. I want some.
Yeah, and even with the size difference, we know how strong she is. So like,
yeah, and that's always like the thing too, is like, we look for girls that are kind of comparable in size just to have that different powerhouse match that we love to have.
Last two questions and wrap this up. First things first, obviously you had that skin condition, the mast cell activation syndrome. You were out, you came back, then you were out again. So I just, you've talked about it before already, but I just want to know, like, how are you maintaining the balance now, and how is everything going with that?
Yeah. I mean, definitely I learned a lot, coming through that entire cycle last year, because I had my waves of like, I got better and then it got worse, and then I would fall back into like a rut and a dark hole, and it would take a lot to climb out of. And so like what I found has really helped me this year, especially just because I'm still getting, small flare-ups. I get small flare-ups like on my lower back, on my neck, random places when I'm traveling a lot, when I'm eating food on the road too much, or I'm not getting enough sleep, because sleep is recovery. It's so important. So when all of those three things are really taking a toll on me, I'll start to see small flare-ups. And what I kind of do is I just tell myself, I'm like, okay, we're a little inflamed right now. What can we do? We can take turmeric, that lowers the inflammation. We can stop eating sugar and junk food because that's not helping. We can try and sleep a little bit more because that'll
Yeah.
help, get your mind off of things. Take a Benadryl and knock out. So I'll do those things, and then I try to like meditate and just really try to like take my brain off of the thought of them even popping up or showing up. Like, to me, if I can turn my mind away from it, then it doesn't exist and it'll just go away by the next day. And that's been kind of helping and working for me. But I have been open about it because I want people to know, like, everyone's going through it. We all have these issues sometimes that we can't control. And I'm going through it too. It's not like I just healed miraculously. I'm back and I'm in front of the camera. And yes, there's a stress and a pressure that comes with that could make the inflammation worse and make me react, but I'm learning how to control it. And I think that's something that's important for people to know, is that you can control it. You can control what your mind is feeling and seeing at this time, and redirect it into another direction. And I think that just it really has a lot to do with having that strength to sit down, control the noise, the background noise, and just focus on what's present and what's happening right now.
It's just been a learning experience kind of day by day, right?
It still is,
Yeah.
it still is. It's still gonna be. I think it's for everyone is different, because even when you're in the middle of it, like, there was times where I was like having flare-ups and something that worked for me stopped working for me. And I was like, that's just how it is. It'll stop working for you. It'll work for you again later on, or something else will work for you this time. And so it's always going to be a learning experience. It's always going to be a struggle, and we're all going to have struggles. We're going to have good times. We're going to have bad times. And so I just tell myself this is a part of life, and that's okay. It's not the end of it. So let's just get through it.
Yeah, and to your point, like, everyone is going through something and everyone's got their situations, but there's a different level of appreciation, know that you're on the road, and we know what it's like to be a professional wrestler. Obviously, it's a little bit less than it was, say, 5 years ago, but you're still on the road, and you're still out there in front of a bunch of people. It's an aesthetic business, and you're dealing with this at the same time. So there's like a lot of appreciation towards that. And it's cool that you found a way to find some balance and make it work out. And we're good to see you every week on TV now, and hopefully that continues to go on.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I like to always wrap things up with this question, just because it's, think about it. It's really easy to answer, but like, just give it a second to like marinate and think about it. But do you feel like you made your younger self proud? If you would have talked to like the little girl that was watching your dad wrestle now, and be like, hey, look what we're doing. We're on WrestleMania stuff. Do you feel like you made your younger self proud?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Like, I feel like I've gone through this a lot during my healing version of just like trying to push through and get through what was happening with my skin. But I did, think about what my younger self would think of me today. And I get a little teary-eyed because I think she would just be in awe. She would just be in awe of like how big and beautiful and strong I've continued to be, and like to see someone representing her, which is like a small brown girl from South Texas that just doesn't fit in because she's so tall and people make fun of her. And now she's just this big superstar. And I think she would just be like, wow,
Yeah.
like she would just be absolutely in awe of what I've become. And I think she would be so proud. I know my dad's proud. I know I'm proud. And so I know she would be proud too.
That's amazing. I mean, on a lighter note, did your sister never want to wrestle?
It's funny, we ask her this all the time. Everybody asks her this all the time. So my sister, she's shorter than me and she's a lot smaller framed.
Yeah.
She was more of like a track runner and a cheerleader, and I was like the basketball player and the mascot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think she would have wanted to manage. I think she could have done something like that, but like the getting hit part, even when we would wrestle, or we would wrestle with our cousins and stuff, she would be like, no, 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 Vicky's gonna do it. Vicky, Raquel's gonna do it. Raquel's gonna take care of it this time. And so I don't know if she would have ever really been able to like take some hits, but she would have definitely been a good mouthpiece. That's for sure.
So it's crazy to think about it. You were pretty much your sister's big mommy cool too back then.
Yeah, yeah.
It just carried forward.
It just kept, that was like my life story. And like, again, my mom would send me on all of her dates. So like, I'm kind of used to being like that third wheel because I had to go on her dates with her.
It's just been the story of your life into your career. That's awesome.
I can't escape it.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, guys. Everybody, Elimination Chamber, they are having a SmackDown the Friday before in Toronto. So if you are in Canada, make sure you guys get your tickets for Elimination Chamber at the formerly known Sky Dome, the Rogers Center. And I always want to point out that it was formerly the Sky Dome because there's a lot of history there. And if I say Sky Dome, more people might be like, I want to always go to a show in the Sky Dome. But it's now called the Rogers Center. It's still there. They're doing a show. I was there for Money in the Bank, and I went to the Scotiabank Arena, and I was like, man, why aren't they doing a show in the Rogers Center? Only to find out that was probably a test to see if they could. And now they're coming back, and they're going to do it, and it should be a lot of fun. But yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Rogers Center, guys, but also known as the Sky Dome. Don't
Yeah.
forget.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys all later.
It's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, the Wrestling Classic here, guys. I want to let you guys know that there's a limited edition Wrestling Classic tee. I'm wearing it right now, but I got to show you the back because it's in collaboration with none other than HQ Clothing, guys. It says Conquered in the back because that's what we do. We're out here conquering it every day, guys. Wear this shirt, remember to conquer it. Do the thing, keep doing the thing. HQ Clothing, Headquarters Clothing, guys. Limited edition Wrestling Classic shirts. There's only like 70 left. There's only 100 printed. Make sure you get them before they're gone. I truly, truly, truly appreciate your support. Conquer it. Get it now. Put the link in the description below.